Good afternoon. Everything flows from the Torah. In my video, It's All Over Obama, I revealed to you that the Torah has certain parallels, certain systems that are in place. One of them is the exile of the people of Israel. Jacob was in exile for 22 years out of 36 that he was away from his father, and the Jewish people were in exile exactly 2,200 years out of 3,600 years from the time that Jacob was born till the birth of the state of Israel. Now this is very, very significant. The next step after the family of Jacob comes back to Israel is the infighting between the brothers, which I believe is the cause of all kinds of difficulties, downturns, political conflict, as well as global conflict that revolves about the state of Israel. If the people of Israel could be united means not that we don't disagree, we disagree. But in that disagreement, there's respect. There's mutual respect for the perspective of the other person. And that's very, very hard to do. You're looking at it purely from the perspective of the Torah. The Torah is the authoritative statement of God. How dare you not listen to God? But look at it from the other person's perspective. He didn't hear it from God. He doesn't see rabbis that he can truly believe in. A lot of them don't measure up to the standards that people would like to see from a rabbi. And so what is this person supposed to be thinking? That the rabbis got it directly from God through some kind of miraculous transmission? He didn't get it. He's got all kinds of questions. In fact, he's got archaeological proofs, scientific argument against all that the rabbis say. So, even those of us who are in the religious camp have to at least respect the other person, that the person's got a perspective, that he has a position that has to be dealt with. And if we can go ahead and deal with each other in mutual respect and appreciate the way the other person is thinking, then we begin to converse, we can begin to engage in a true conversation as to how to go about figuring out our daily obligations and responsibilities. And that's the problem. The problem is we don't want to sit down and talk. We don't want to understand the other person's position. The religious, because why should we compromise the Word of God? We've got nothing to compromise. The non-religious don't want to, because they don't want to deal with what they consider nonsense, and they don't want their children caught up in this. And so we have a standoff, and we have people who dislike each other, hate each other, and this serves us no good. It doesn't mean that we change our positions. It means we understand the other person's positions. And when you understand the other person's positions, you can then explain it in light of that other person's position. It would be in your best interest, because despite your perspective, it would still be in your best interest not to try to draft the boys in Israel, the Yeshiva boys, because they are against it. You would have soldiers that would be rebelling. You'd have disrespectful and rebellious people among the and there's no way you can go ahead and educate them to your perspective. So it's not in your best interest to force them to go to the military. And they're doing a fine job studying Torah. In fact, many of them are engaged in positive things in the community. They go out and raise money for poor people, feed poor people, dealing with all kinds of social activities, especially Hasidim, especially Hasidei Chabad. And so in light of all of this, from your perspective, that all children, all students who are 18 and up, who are not, whose function is not necessary to this sustenance of the community, of the whole Yeshiva, all of them must go to the army. If that's the case, even from that perspective, the yeshiva boys would not be material. Just like people who can't pick up a pack and can't march are not material. These are just not military material. And that would create an understanding as to why they should be given a p'tur, and there wouldn't be any animosity, and you would then expect them to compensate in some way, to give back service in the future towards the community. And that would be a good way of dealing with it. But nobody's talking. And that's the problem that we have in this week's portion.